So. What is up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of the Hot Stove Podcast. And in usual Hot Stove fashion, I don't know what episode it is, but most importantly, the number doesn't matter this time because it is time. By the way, it's episode 51, if anybody was wondering. Episode 51. It's a very special episode of the Hot Stove Podcast because it is time for the third annual Stovie Awards, the 21 Stovie Awards. Yes, let's give a round of applause for some great action this year. Tonight, we will be having a toast, as Josh does from his COVID hole, to the best and the worst in sports of 2021, as per usual. We have superlatives. We have our own list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 awards. The same 7 awards that we had last year. But first, we have some Hot Stove awards to give out here. I got one final trivia question for you for 2021.
Oh, baby.
And then we will officially crown the trivia champion of Hot Stove.
I can't even begin to imagine who it might be.
Yeah.
God damn you, Mark. Don't pity me, okay? Give me a goddamn question.
Hey, this is a family show, right?
It's worth 150,000 points.
I was half tempted to say that if Austin or Josh got them right, they were going to be worth 25 points instead of 1. I was very tempted to do that, but nonetheless,
this one's worth 1 million points.
As you might know, Campbell Walker recorded a triple-double on Christmas Day this past Saturday. The 10th Christmas Day triple-double in NBA history. 7 other players, or no. 1, 2, 3. I suck at trivia. I don't even know my own question. 6 other players have recorded a triple-double on Christmas Day in NBA history. Mark, you're not allowed to guess first.
Okay.
That's one of my rules here. But I want you to tell me who the other 6 players to get a Christmas Day triple-double are.
Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson did it 4 times, Josh. And for that, I will give you 4 points.
Oh,
Draymond
what?
Green.
Draymond Green also did it in 2017.
Oh, this guy's got the list.
LeBron.
Damn it.
LeBron also did it.
Damn it.
2010.
The Royal Rules.
Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook did it in 2013, Mark. That's correct. So you've gotten the easy ones. There are 2 remaining. The years that they did it, 1967, 1970.
Oh, Jesus.
What'd you say?
Wilt?
No.
I'm so bad at that.
Sam Jones?
Not Sam Jones.
Bob Cousy.
No, not Bob Cousy.
Walt Frazier.
No, not Walt Frazier. Did you see the coat that Clyde was wearing on Christmas Day?
I did not see his Christmas Day coat.
Oh, it was excellent. You got to go look it up.
I'll look it up right now.
1970. Good Lord.
In 1967, I'll give you the stats for this player in 1967. He was a 26-year-old who averaged 21.4 points per game.
In 67.
Yes.
Wes Unseld?
Not Wes Unseld.
I'm nearly gassed here. I mean, I got nothing.
I don't think I have anything. I'm terrible at old boys.
Mark, you got. I mean, what are we doing here?
What's that? Sorry, I'm trying to. I'm trying to find Walt Clyde Frazier's Christmas coat.
I said the player that did in 1967 averaged 21.4 points per game that year.
So he was a good player.
Yeah. The guy who did it in 1970 averaged 26 points a game that year.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No.
My dad says you suck.
I'll give you each 2 more guesses.
I don't know that I have 2 more guesses.
Because we
Hondo?
have this whole...
John Havlicek?
John Havlicek did it in 1967, Mark.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
What a stud. Give me Jerry West.
Not Jerry West.
Because he was bad, you see.
No, not that.
Here we go. I'm terrible at names.
1970. That's like...
I'll even give you the team he played for.
Okay.
All right, let's see it.
1970, he played for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, Julius Erving.
Not Julius Erving.
He was still in the
Dr.
ABA
J.
at that point, I believe.
Wow, that would have been the only other thing I had.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I'll tell you, his nickname was the Kangaroo Kid.
Are you the Kangaroo Kid?
His real name, he had his best season of his career in 1970, where he averaged 26.1 points per game, 13.6 rebounds, and
Is this
4
guy
assists.
in the Hall of Fame?
Is he an Australian?
He is in the Hall of Fame. And that name is Billy Cunningham.
Oh.
Nah.
Billy
Never
Cunningham.
I don't know. That guy's not real.
So, that closes out Hot Stove Trivia for 2021. The final standings read like this. With 1 point, special guest Adam Pallenberry. Yes,
Good job, Adam. Yeah.
Yep. With 5 points, special guest, friend of the show, Mike Schrader.
Yeah, Mike.
In 4th place, with 57 points, it's me. It's myself.
Yay!
How do you even get 57 points? We asked
That's
no questions.
That's a good question.
Stumping us, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I did give myself some for stumping you guys during the draft special, and then Mark had questions occasionally that I most likely got all of them right, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
In 3rd
Sure.
place, the bronze medal for Hot Stove Trivia
This is really what it comes down to.
is Austin Westrich
Oh, come on.
with 120 points on the year.
Damn it.
Second place, it's all those shows that you missed really cost you. In 2nd place is with 132 points, Josh Boheim. And in 1st place, almost doubling Josh's total, with 262 points in 2021, is the trivia master, Mark Rowlands. Congratulations, Mark,
Thank you.
Don't
for
call him
being
the
your
box
trivia
score for
champion for
Thanks.
2021. Those numbers are officially reset as I take them out of my notes app right now. And when we return in 2022, we will start anew in Hot Stove Trivia. We will have more updates coming on the FanDuel standings, blah, 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 blah. We're in the middle of a week right now. What the hell do you want us to do? We can't even finish out the season because we got an extra week of the season. If it were a normal season, it'd be week 17, and I could tell you who won FanDuel right now. But I can't. Because actually, no, week 17 is next week. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't listen
Is
to
your
Wes.
defense putting up 57 tonight, Nunez?
Do I have the Miami defense?
I don't know that you got a defense tonight.
Then yes, I have the Miami defense. Am I in 2nd place by 57 points? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a little unlucky this week. A couple
I mean, yeah, I had
injuries.
James Robinson in
Same.
my lineup, so
So did I, yeah.
it's unfortunate. It'd be like that. Anyways, enough lollygagging. It's time to get to the main show. It is time for the 2021 Stovie Awards. And before we get into our regular set of awards here, we have some superlatives. Some things that each of us decided to come up with throw in there. Could be one that we brought back from last year. Could be a new one. I mean, who the hell? Sorry, a sidebar here, but this is classic hot stove. Who even wants a new Louis C.K. special? I keep seeing commercials for it. Do you want that?
No.
I wouldn't be opposed.
I don't know if I really want that. I never found him all
like
that funny in
Louis.
the first place. So,
Oh, Austin's big Louis guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to, I guess you probably shouldn't just be like, oh, he's a huge Louis guy. Loves
Yeah,
him.
loves him.
Hey,
I love being in a room with him.
All right. We're going to start with our 2021 superlatives. Who would like to go first?
Are we going to do all of ours at once? That seemed like the easiest thing to do, right?
Yeah.
I'll go first. I'll go
Okay.
first with mine. So I'm going to take off the camera here for a second. I'll be reading off my notes here. I'll go in terms of what I think is the best superlatives to the worst. So we'll start off first with the one and done award, which goes to the best performance by a player that was only needed for one start due to an injury or COVID. This won't surprise many people out there. You know, this guy's a real gritty type guy, a gamer, some would say. And when his number was called in November, he stepped up on Sunday night. It's the Gold Rush. It's Cooper Rush. 24 of 40, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick for a 92.2 passer rating and one of the greatest one and dones from a quarterback we've seen all year.
92.2 passer rating isn't even that good.
It's a league average.
Now, would you say that his one and done was better than Gardner Minshew's one and done?
It's not better than Gardner Minshew's one.
Not even a little bit.
His one and done, a road win in the conference that is now proving if they get the first seed, his one and done will be better in my mind. Yeah.
Well, the Eagles are going to be.
I mean, that's going to be huge. They beat the Vikings. Yeah, they will. They could be in the playoffs based off that. Yeah. So who knows?
Yep.
Who's to say? You might be right.
Josh's internet is crazy right now.
Is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god, like bad.
No, not right now, but it was for a second.
Okay. Gotcha. My second one here is the Kemba Walker Award for putting the team on your back in March, and that goes to 2 young players this year. Oh Jesus! I'm attacked by a cat. Sorry. This goes to Jacob Preston for Ohio and Max Obmas for Oral Roberts. Those guys balled out. I often forget about March Madness when we do these things. And I didn't want to forget this year. I tried to get the Baylor Bears in. I hate Mark Few and Gonzaga. Tried to get somewhere in there, maybe the Timmy Award. I couldn't find it. So this is where I do give some respect to these guys that you probably won't remember. Jacob Preston, I don't think – did he get drafted? Or is he
He's
still
on
there?
the Clippers 2-way contract.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, they're bums. But the point is they had fun. They balled out in March, and that's what we love them for. Third award here. This is my big fat anti-football pussy award, which goes to someone trying to ruin the game of football.
I feel like this can only go to one person, can it not?
Yeah, Mark, you guessed it. That's the commissioner of Roger Goodell. God bless. I mean, it was clearly outlined in I don't know what it was, maybe a memoir or a manifesto that some guy left, but he's clearly made out to be. So that's for you, Commish. Get some of that. Stay out of it. Just let guys go out there and have some fun. My second to last award here, my penultimate one, as you would say, is the When I Knew I Had a Problem Award, which goes to the sporting event or events that showed me I had a gambling problem. And so for that, we head over to the NHL playoffs because I got into it. Hundreds of dollars being laid on the Canadian or against the Canadiens, I should say, in the finals. In the Eastern Conference Finals, it was hundreds. But yeah, my girlfriend's looking at me right now. It was hundreds. Yeah, hundreds of dollars being bet. And then, of course, there was the Islander incident in the hotel room where I'm pretty sure I still have knee damage from running down, yelling, "We're going to Borelli's," after Jean-Guy Pajot carried me to an overtime victory. Thank you. We appreciate it. We love the memories. Honestly, gambling throughout the last year reminds me of so many sporting events, good or bad. So. And then my favorite superlative, my last one, thanks to all who've been awarded so far. My last one is the 2000s Spanish Paralympics Basketball Award, which goes to the biggest cheater of the year. For those that don't know, you'll probably ask yourself, what are the 2000s Paralympics men's basketball team? I think we've talked about it before, but they were a group of men who went out there and pretended to have a disability so they could compete in the Paralympics. And so for that award, we give it out there to none other than sorry, we give it out to none other than Bob Baffert and Medina Spirit for cheating in horse racing, America's greatest pastime.
Rest in peace.
All right,
Oh, God. Well, that's a big round of applause to all of the superlatives. Much deserved. Much deserved.
You'll see that last superlative come back next year. I think I got to keep that one.
Would anybody care? I'll go next with my.
I'm not following that.
I'll go next with my superlatives. So I only have 3. It'll be quick, right? I got 2 that are in tandem with one another, and then 1 that makes its return from last year. So we'll start with the 2 that go in tandem with each other. That is Bag Chaser of the Year and Bag Fumbler of the Year. The people who chased the biggest bag and the people who fumbled the biggest bag in sports this year. Bag Chaser of the Year. The guy who cheated the system in the best way possible to chase that bag in 2021. 76ers point guard, Ben Simmons. I know what you're saying. We're not supposed to like Ben Simmons. I don't particularly care for the way he's handled the situation. But what you can say about Ben Simmons is that he chased the bag. Well, why? Because that man found every loophole possible to not show up and play for the Sixers team and still receive every game check he is awarded this year. This man is earning all of his $34 million a year or whatever the hell he got. Not because he's playing, but because him and Rich Paul are putting in that work behind the scenes. He's chasing that GD bag, all right? Ben Simmons is your bag chaser of the year. Now, on the flip side, we do have to talk about the people who fumbled the bag the most in 2021, who had the opportunity for the bag, and they fucked it up. They fumbled the bag. And that award, the Bag Fumbler of the Year for 2021, goes to the entire ownership and management structure of Major League Baseball. Because they had an opportunity to work on baseball. With Shohei Ohtani finally exploding, Vlad Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette, Ronald Acuna, Tatis, all of this super young, extra fun talent that you have coming into the league. They had an opportunity to bolster a new era of baseball. One that makes it fun to young kids around the country and around the world to like America's pastime. And you know what they did? They spiraled us into a fucking lockout. All while not promoting the game at all over the summer. So kudos to you, management structure of Major League Baseball, for fumbling the fucking bag and making your sport infinitely worse for it. I appreciate you.
Honorable mention, Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, but he's been playing well for the Celtics, so I can't begrudge him. Anyways, final superlative on my part. It's the one that returns from 2020. And that is going to be the Hot Stove Twitter Idiot of the Year. And remember, last year it was Aubrey Huff.
I would say, is this a 2-time award winner?
No, Aubrey Huff would have been up for nomination, but his Twitter account got suspended indefinitely. So he doesn't have the opportunity to tweet stupid bullshit because he's not on Twitter. Unfortunate. But the Twitter Idiot of the Year award for 2021 goes to every Baseball Writers Association of America member who openly flaunts their empty Hall of Fame ballot on the Bluebird app. Thank you for going on the internet and showing how much you hate the sport, or how much you hate the sport that you're supposed to be covering. I appreciate you. And those are my superlatives. Let's give a round of applause for that round of superlatives here on the 20 stories. Mark, Austin, would either of you care to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So my first superlative the biggest pleasant surprise of 2021. Keep it positive, uplifting. That goes to Jordan Spieth. This man went from being ranked 88th in the world last year to winning the Valero Texas Open and blowing numerous leads on Sundays. So good for Jordan Spieth for finally being back in the top 15 in the world golf rankings and providing us with some fun this year. Next, we've got my personal favorite award. I don't remember if I actually handed it out last year. I wanted to, but I don't think I did. I'm going to do it this year. That's the non-European White Basketball Player of the Year award. And Nunez, that goes to your boy, Tyler Hero.
Oh, Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero is the 2021. I shortened it here to Whitey of the Year, but the full award is the non-European White NBA Player of the Year.
Is Josh Giddy European?
He's Australian.
He's Australian.
Oh, okay.
So he was eligible for this award.
He was eligible for this award, but I got to see a little more. I do appreciate the fact he had a double-double without scoring a single point. That's hilarious.
Put a pin in that.
Okay. Next up, the best new baseball podcast of 2021. That goes
fuck you.
That goes
What
to
is it,
What's
Mark?
in the Box Score, featuring Rick Weiner. This brand new baseball podcast. That's a box score pod underscores between the words on Twitter.
Love a shameless plug.
Yeah, this is my shameless plug. Go listen to my podcast. We just revealed our Baseball Hall of Fame ballots and broke them down. So that's the best new baseball podcast of 2021.
Okay.
Next year, that award will evolve into the best baseball podcast that started in 2021 and is still going.
Do you have an award for the best nationally syndicated betting show that happens on Fridays at 2 p.m. award?
I was going to, and then I was like, I'm not going to do back-to-back shameless plugs, but I will. I'll add that award right now. That's outside the box score on Colorcast every Friday at 2 p.m. Download the Colorcast
Brought to
app.
you by Colorcast.
Brought to you by Colorcast, presenting sponsor of the show. And finally, I've got a new award this year. This is the first annual Urban Meyer Scumbag of the Year award. You might know who the first winner is. It's Urban Meyer. That guy's a prick. He kicked his own players. He had his hand so far in a woman's nether regions in a bar. It was just...
Only time I've ever seen that was in Oswego.
That's
I
true.
got a video.
That's true.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Can we play that video live on the show?
Let me see what I can do. Yeah, I'll get it to you. I gotta ask Devona for it. I think he still got it.
I hate to do this, but we have a problem in our fantasy league, guys. Ian Book just threw a pick six on his first throw of the game.
Oh, that's bad. I just lost. I'm going up against the Miami defense, and I had like a 5-point lead. So
Same.
Wow.
Same. Yeah.
Ian Book, welcome to the show.
Anywho.
Yeah, that was my last award. The first annual Urban Meyer Scumbag of the Year award.
Okay. Well, congratulations to the winners of all of those superlatives. Austin.
All right. I got two quick ones. My new one, best Twitter athlete, and that's going to go to Kevin Durant this year. He's turned his burner into his main account, and anybody who tweets at him with any criticism, he just responds with basically just saying, "Fuck you, man." Just straight up, doesn't give a shit. He's got the other day he tweeted at Skip. He was like, "Man, I really hate this dude." Like just tweeted at him on a tweet from whatever that show's called now. And I was like, this guy's an animal. And people are tweeting at him like, "Wow, man, this is real classy. What are you doing?" He just tweets, "I'm not a role model. Don't care." I mean, he's just an animal on Twitter these days. I assume he just doesn't have a burner anymore. So that's going to be my best Twitter athlete this year. That's going to be a reoccurring award going forward. So I'm going to start paying attention to some more athletes on Twitter going forward. And then first, before we get into this next award, we're going to do the look back at this award. Last year, the Super Galaxy Brain Butt Buddies Award went to Matt Nagy and Doug Peterson. So let's see where they are now. Now, Matt Nagy's a loser. He's no longer Galaxy Brained. He's just a loser who doesn't know what he's doing. And Doug Peterson's jobless. And but but there's word that he is getting an interview with the Jaguars. So,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
So keep in mind, last year's butt buddies, I may have cursed him. Nagy's probably fired in the season. Peterson didn't even. I mean, he was fired right after the season I gave him the award. I mean, this is a prestigious award. This year, I think these two guys are safe because this year the two Super Galaxy Brain butt buddies are Brandon Staley and John Harbaugh for their exquisite 2-point conversions and fourth down calls, costing them to their team's games this year. Now, I will say, to defend them, I don't disagree with their calls. I just think it's funny when people do these super analytical things and then they just lose. And then everyone goes crazy. Everyone on Twitter goes nuts. Everybody calls these guys the biggest idiots on the planet. But I will give them some credit. They're super galaxy-brained people because they actually have analytics guys, and they actually trust the science behind these calls, while Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy were just idiots. But those are my two super galaxy brain butt buddies of the year, Brandon Staley and John Harbaugh. Congratulations to them. And that's it for my superlatives this year. We're gonna have 2 reoccurring now. Maybe I'll add another next year, 1 a year.
Congratulations to all of our superlative winners. And it's time to move on to the main awards of the show. We've got 7 awards here, and we're going to go in the same order we just did. Excuse me. First award of the evening, least valuable person, the sports LVP of 2021. Josh, you're up first. Who is your nomination for LVP in 2021?
Great. I know this isn't, I don't have this for everyone, but I do have an honorable mention as well for this award. So my honorable mention here is my first men's tennis selection of the evening. Austin, you'll know this guy. It's Stefano Titipasta Tsitsipas. And he is by far a disappointment. He is the least valuable player. This guy was crowned basically last year as tennis's star. He is constantly in the top 5 for rankings. The best thing he did this year was make it to a semis in Roland Garros, where he was vanquished. He's a loser. He's a nobody. He continues to get injured. Until he beats anybody of relevance, he is up there for least valuable. But I found one decision maker just a little bit more, or should I say less valuable. And that would be, it's kind of new, kind of recent, still in the news here. That's Travis Hunter, former FSU recruit, who decided to go to bumfuck nowhere just because prime time can coach him. So guess what, loser? Have fun making zilch in your career. Great decision. I hope Barstool loves you. Sorry. Thank you to Travis Hunter.
I'd just like to say that I don't know who else I speak for, but I do not endorse that pick.
And neither do I.
No.
I mean, I'm a primetime guy. What is this? To go coach for him? Make millions, kid. Go to the big D1 school, get drafted.
He'll make millions when he gets to the NFL, guy. All right.
If he does,
He'll still get drafted top 10 if he's good in college.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just stuck in 2004 where there's only 6 schools that matter. We get it. We understand.
NIL me, dude.
Yeah.
Next.
All right. My pick for least valuable person in 2021, he's already been mentioned on this show. He has already won an award in the Stovies before, and that is 2020 winner of the Galaxy Brain Butt Buddies Award, Matt Nagy. Has moved up my pick for least valuable person. Let me tell you why. This guy, man of the people, right? He's able to get him and all of his stupid people with the Bears, except all the stupid people are above them. Ted Phillips and Ryan Pace, who should both be fired at the end of the season anyways. That's beside the point. They do a really good job. They're like a snake oil salesman. They do a really good job of gaslighting you into thinking that it's going to be okay, and then proceeding to fuck it up even worse than the year before when you thought it couldn't be any more fucked up. You saw my reaction at the draft. They drafted Justin Fields. Awesome. You know what they did? They promptly wasted a year of this kid's career. And just so as well as I know, they got 2 games left. They play the Giants and the Vikings the last 2 weeks of the season. Watch them win both of those games, and everyone comes back next year. And we do this whole rigmarole all over again, where Matt Nagy gaslights the Chicago Bears fans into thinking that the team is going to be good, just for them to be a offensively terribly coached, undisciplined. Fun fact, they're the most penalized team in the NFL since he's become their head coach. It's trust me, it's on pretty full display this season.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that Sean Desai sticks around. He's their defensive coordinator. He's done a fantastic job this year. But Matt Nagy's got to go. And until he does, as long as he's still gaslighting these fans, he's going to be my least valuable person. So, Mark?
Yeah, mine. I also have an honorable mention for this, and he's someone who's also already won an award this year. He won the first annual Urban Meyer Scumbag of the Year award, and that's Urban Meyer. I decided he's not even good enough to win 2 terrible awards, so he's going to be the honorable mention.
Excellent.
My actual LVP has also won an award this year, and that's Rob Manfred. He was included in Nunez's upper management of Major League Baseball.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Rob Manfred because all of the reasons Nunez said earlier and more. I like to point to the baseball debacle that is still going on for whatever reason, where he was like, I'm not going to change the balls anymore. I promise. I promise I'm not going to change the balls anymore. And guess what? There were 2 different baseballs this year, and no one knew when they were going to be used or why. One was dead, one was juiced. It makes no sense. This guy stinks. Get him out of my favorite sport, for the love of God. And let someone who actually knows what they're doing be commissioner. So, Rob Manfred, congratulations. I might have given you this award last year as well. I don't remember, but you stink.
Attaboy, Rob. Reeling in these awards. My LVP. He's won an award tonight. He was just mentioned in the honorable mentions. It's Urban Meyer. Aside from him, reaching his hand somewhere he shouldn't and physically assaulting players, he was just a terrible coach. He was just terrible at his job. He was just very bad. I heard a stat the other day that before he left, the Jags were like 93% on team unders this season. The line would be set at like 16.5, and they would still never hit it. They were just the worst offense in the league, and he was brought in to like revamp this offense, build around Trevor Lawrence. They had some weapons, and it just went awful.
Now, may I, before you continue to berate this poor Christian fella, can I just put out one thing about him that's just kind of undoubtedly sick? It is kind of cool to call a coaches meeting and then go, I'm a winner. Okay, so I don't know why the hell are you here?
Yes. Then
you guys I hired.
Yeah, I was going to say,
what are you doing here?
Cool up until you remember the fact that he hired all of those people.
Hired all of the people he has. All the people he has, by the way, have like 4 combined rings on his like close staff. They're actually winners. He's the loser. He's the loser in the NFL, but he's the winner. They're the losers. And my award goes alongside with anybody defending him and saying, well, he just needs control. That's why he's a college coach. If you need to kick your players, especially kicker, I mean, if you need players,
like he said, he's just a victim of cancel culture, bro.
Yeah. This guy's a clown.
I will say, I agree with his daughter, dude. She was right.
No,
I agree with her. She can say anything, and I'd agree with her. Yeah. I'm kidding. It's for the podcast.
Let's get out of this award. This is going terribly. So congratulations to all of the winners of the least valuable person award. And we will move on. We will move on to the next award. Urban Meyer and Rob Manfred are going to be piling up awards. But by the time this night is over, we're going to move on to our next award here. And Josh, we're going to start with you. the Diamond in the Rough Award for 2021. Who's your pick?
Yeah, that's great. I got two here again, an honorable mention and the winner here. The honorable mention, I went with this fella because I had completely forgotten about it until I looked back, and I think a lot of us might have, that this fella right here managed to be the oldest player in his sport to win a major championship, and I completely forgot about it. It's lefty. It's Phil Mickelson. Honorable mention to you. Completely forgot that he won the PGA this year at Ocean at the Ocean Course in something fall. I can't pronounce the actual name.
Kiowa Island.
Thank you, Mark. But my real diamond in the rough here. This will continue my trend of tennis. You might not have paid attention to her. Look at me. It is Emma Raducanu, the British female who won the United States Open. She is electric. She broke onto the scene with Leia Fernandez, also, both of them teenagers competing in the U.S. Open final, and she manages to win it. Now, she kind of had a crappy end of the year, kind of fell off, maybe reached the peak too high, so she's not a breakout star by any means, but she was a sneaky good, great accomplishment that should get more recognition, and that's why I'll give her the Diamond in the Rough award. So congrats to you. Hats off, my British mate there, Emma.
Congratulations, indeed. My pick for the award, we're going to move over to basketball for a moment. And this is a guy that I think should be getting more recognition in the Rookie of the Year race in the NBA, should be getting more recognition in terms of his long-term potential. I don't see why this guy can't have a Jason Kidd type ceiling. And that is the man we've already talked about. The Australian gentleman known as Josh Giddy is going to be my pick as the Diamond in the Rough award winner for the year. So I've got it here. He's averaging 10, 7, and 6 in his rookie year. The other night, had a double-double without recording a single point. He went 0 for 8, scored 0 points, and still had 10 rebounds and 10 assists. This guy he's got to get his shooting percentage up. And he's gotta become a better shooter in general. But he is already a fantastic playmaker, a great rebounder for the position, very similar to someone like Jason Kidd when he came in the league. So people need to be paying attention to this guy. Him and another. My honorable mention could also be Franz Wagner for the Magic, who's been fantastic this year. Both of them, but Josh Giddy in particular looks like someone who has a pretty high ceiling in the NBA and looks like he has a very bright, very long future ahead of him. So it is looking quite exciting for Josh Giddy. He's my pick for the Diamond in the Rough award winner.
All right, my pick for the Diamond in the Rough. It's an outfielder in Major League Baseball that did not get nearly enough attention this year. That's Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this guy, drafted out of Vanderbilt, had a lot of hype coming in. He was traded. He was drafted by the Giants, and he was traded to Pittsburgh. He came up a couple years ago, had a really good rookie season, finished 4th in Rookie of the Year voting. Then last year in the shortened season, really struggled. Hit 189, and people are like, maybe that rookie year was a fluke. He proved it wasn't a fluke. Hit 302 this year, 24 home runs, 90 RBIs, 35 doubles, and led the majors with 8 triples. Brian Reynolds, no one talked about him. This is a really good young ball player that's going to be around, in my opinion, for a long time. Smooth swing,
Did the Pirates
solid
trade him
defender. Not yet. He will be on a different team very soon, I think. The Pirates love trading their good young players. But
that might be the first news after the lockout.
Yeah, it's like, Brian Reynolds is a Yankee now. But yeah, Brian Reynolds. Congrats on the Diamond in the Rough award.
So I got an honorable mention for this one, just for Josh. He's gonna love this one. My Diamond in the Rough honorable mention, Jensen Brooksby. That guy, he's an up and coming American tennis star. And you know what? He started the year down in the rankings. Let's just say that,
Let's just say he was 372nd in the rankings, and I'll talk about it more later, Austin, because this kid's got stuff.
Let's just say he peaked this year at rank 56 here in November, which is unbelievable climbing the rankings. This is a guy you want to keep your eye on going into next year, but he's got to be a diamond in the rough this year because if you don't talk about him now, you're going to be late to the party. But my real diamond in the rough, this is going to be a surprise to everyone here. This is going to be crazy, but my diamond in the rough is Davis Mills, quarterback for the Houston Texans. Now, everyone's going, what the heck is this guy? The Houston Texans have the worst talent in the NFL. They're the worst team in the NFL, but yet they've won their last two. They just upset the Los Angeles Chargers. And of his last 4 starts, he's had over a 90 passer rating in all of them. He's had 7 touchdowns, just to 2 picks in his last 4 starts. He has been an animal on the field, and he looks like he's going to force Houston to draft everything but quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. And he's my diamond in the rough because he's going to make Houston's GM job easier. They won't have to find their next guy. He is their next guy. Davis Mills.
Did you know Davis Mills this year became the first rookie quarterback to ever throw for more than 300 yards against the Patriots in the Bill Belichick era?
Yeah, he threw for 303 against them.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Kind of electric.
So, congratulations to all of the Diamond in the Rough award winners this year. Whether they be from tennis or baseball or basketball or the gridiron. We appreciate you, and we are looking out for you here on the Stove. So we're going to move to the next award here. Josh, we'll start with you. This one is a bit of a tricky one to come up with. It was the last award that I filled out personally. And that is the sports event of the year.
Yeah. So this one for me, I do have just one here, no honorable mention. Maybe betting induced. I will lay that out there back in the day here. I think it'll be tricky. I don't know that anyone else has this sport on their list here, but I'm going to bring it Rome, and it's the Euros 2020 that I've never watched. Let's be clear here. I've never watched a non-USA soccer match probably in my life until the Euros came along because I'm a degenerate. It's the dog days of baseball. I didn't like betting baseball. And so I came across Euro Cup soccer. And I went heavy on Italy throughout the entire thing. Bring It Rome brought me back. And watching that finals, it went to PKs. It was just a great moment for them. And England is like a dynasty of the sport that just never wins. So watching them lose again in the biggest stage of them all for them was kind of humbling. It made me feel good. So that's my sporting event of the year.
I will say that is a great pick. I never really watch soccer outside of the World Cup. But I did watch a lot of the Euros this year, and I 100% watched the Euro finals and was actively rooting against both nations, to be quite honest with you. But shout out to that cat. What's the cat's name?
Frank. That's Frank.
Frank?
Yeah.
Is Frank named after the dog in Men in Black?
No, he's not. He was named, honestly, his name was Felix, and then she was like, nah, Felix is dumb, so Frank.
Is he named after a certain actor's character in a Netflix show about the White House?
It might be.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, well, my pick for the sporting event of the year, I'm the fight guy. I like to talk about fights on this show. Mm-hmm. And my sporting event of the year is going to be a fighting event. April 24th, Saturday, April 24th, at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville, Florida. That'll be UFC 261. Now, that event, headlined by Kamaru Usman versus Jorge Masvidal in the rematch, containing 2 other title fights on the card, Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Weili and Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Andrade, was the UFC's return to arenas with fans for the first time since February of 2020. They sold it out. It was a glorious event, and it was one of the UFC's best events of the year, if not the best. Having Anthony Smith defeating Jimmy Crute. You have the memorable, although tragic, Chris Weidman injury on that card, which was not fun as I was watching it live. Then you have Valentina Shevchenko dominating Jessica Andrade. Rose Namajunas with one of the most feel-good moments in sport of all time, with the whole, like, I'm the best. She's telling herself that she's the best before the fight starts, and then a minute in, knocks out the champion with a head kick to reclaim her title, to become the first two-time champion in UFC women's history. And then Kamaru Usman laying his stamp down as the pound-for-pound king in the sport, securing a vicious knockout of Jorge Masvidal. The first person to knock out Jorge Masvidal since, like, 2004. This dude has been fighting since around 9/11, and he hasn't been knocked out in 15 years at least. And Kamaru Usman sent him to hell. It was an excellent event all around. It marked the return to arenas for the UFC. We're starting to get closer back into it. The UFC is in March is going to be hosting their first on-location fight night since the start of the pandemic. Jan Blachowicz versus Alexander Rakic is going to be in Columbus, Ohio. So we're going to start moving on to the touring show again. It's exciting. It was a great event, and I commend the UFC for having the biggest year in company history this year.
All right. Well, my sporting event of the year is, I'm the golf guy on this show, I would say. I probably watch the most professional golf, and my favorite event of the year was the Ryder Cup. And I will get more into the Ryder Cup later, but the U.S. won. It was, they had been terrible in the Ryder Cup the last 20 years. It was one of those things where even I said the smart money would have been on Europe. I didn't care that the U.S. had more talent, but Europe is just strictly a better Ryder Cup team than the Americans have been the last 20 years or so.
Gamers. They're gamers.
They're
gamers.
Match
play gamers.
Ian Poulter has never lost a singles match. It's unbelievable. That guy isn't even that good. But US won. It was at a beautiful course at Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. Just an awesome course. That was another reason I thought Europe would win. It's a links course. It just happens to be in America. It's one of the few in America where they play PGA events. And it was just an awesome weekend. You had Dustin Johnson not losing a single event. You had Patrick Cantlay continuing his dominance from the end of the playoffs there between the BMW and the PGA. Brooks and Bryson hugged it out and then said later that they still hate each other. It was awesome. It was a great event. I love the Ryder Cup. I'm glad US was able to pull it out. And that's my sporting event of the year.
All right. I'm surprised no one mentioned this sporting event, not even an honorable mention, but how about Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Bucks-Nets? A truly classic game. End of regulation, Kevin Durant hits a miraculous shot where his foot was 1 inch from being behind the line, which would have been a game winner, but instead it was a game tire. And then we go to overtime for only him to airball the game-winning shot. Just an insane series of events, but, kind of the hero wins kind of thing where you're like, oh, the villain, the Nets, the super team comes in, albeit an injured James Harden and no Kyrie Irving, so hardly a super team at that point, but they were like the bad boys of basketball because they were building this team. And then, the good boy, Giannis Antetokounmpo, that everyone was rooting for, and he gets his win, and then he goes to the finals and wins after that. But this game right here was an amazing game, and there's always one of those games in the NBA playoffs where it's just mayhem. Like the Kawhi year when he hit that game winner on the Sixers. There's always that moment in the playoffs, and this one was that for me.
Excellent choices. Congratulations to all the winners for sporting event of the year. We're going to move on to the next award here. Our last negative award, I swear. We're going to get back into the positives after this, but it wouldn't be an award show if we didn't talk about some of the biggest disappointments in sport in 2021. Yep. So Josh, why don't you kick it off with your biggest disappointment of the year?
Sure. It's hard to, this takes disappointment to a little bit of a nicer level, I guess. This isn't really like, this guy shouldn't feel bad about this by any means, but it's just a bummer not to see this happen I'm talking about Novak Djokovic not being able to reach the calendar slam or the golden slam this year. Super high pressure on him to do it. Obviously dominant throughout the first 3 tournaments of the year. His all the way back to last year at this time in the Australian Open. You talk about my tennis knowledge growing. He faced a guy named Daniil Medvedev. I don't know if you know who he is. He's the number 2 ranked tennis player in the world. And I was like, oh, that guy's a loser. He'll never play him. It forced me to have my biggest bet of the time of ever at that time. I put it on Novak to win that Grand Slam, and he obviously did. Dominates there, goes on to win at the French, win at Wimbledon. I mean, the guy was just on an incredible run, dominating everyone. And then honestly, I think that loss at the Olympics kind of just took it out of him, because then he goes to the U.S. Open in September after that and loses to Medi again in 3 sets. I mean, just gets pounced. He did make up for it. Later on, they met in the finals, but the tour finals, that is. But yeah, it's just a bummer. Would have been the first time since Rod Laver did it back in the 70s. It's just one of those things that doesn't really happen in the modern game. So it would have been cool to see. So disappointing, yes, but, hold your head high. You won 3 major titles, so and a bronze medal. Or actually, no, he didn't. He didn't win the bronze medal. Yeah.
All right. My pick for biggest disappointment is certainly a more negative pick. And my pick is going to be the 2021-2022 Los Angeles Lakers. And I'll tell you why. All right. This team has 2018 Cavs written all over it. 2 seasons ago, win the championship. Just like in 2016, the Cavs won the championship. 2017, fall a little bit short. They lose in the title. They got smoked in the NBA Finals that year, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Get smashed in the NBA Finals. Lakers, how they make it to the second round of the playoffs? I don't remember. Anyways,
yeah, I think second round.
Didn't make it too far in the playoffs, and then won. That was basically riding on the same roster that won the championship, right? And then, after they don't win a second straight championship, they get restless with that Cavs team. It was signing Dwayne Wade and Derrick
RJ come back?
What'd you say?
Did RJ come back for 2018?
Yeah, but RJ was on those teams before. He was already on the roster.
Okay.
That was signing Dwayne Wade, and that was signing Derrick Rose and Isaiah Thomas and all those guys and whatnot. This year, it was trading the entire roster for Russell Westbrook. And here we are again. The team is spiraling. They've had the easiest schedule in the NBA to this point. They have the hardest schedule in the NBA remaining. And I can almost feel a 2018 NBA trade deadline coming again here in 2022 with the Lakers, all for them to go to the playoffs again. And the thing was in 2018 that LeBron was still able to carry that team to the finals. I don't see that happening this year if they can't figure something out. So the Lakers basically is just like history. Time is a flat circle. And that's what the Lakers are doing right now, is being that flat circle of time. It's quite disappointing.
I'm not disappointed by it in the slightest. I personally love to see it. They also made the same mistake by acquiring Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah.
They did it again.
That guy's not good at basketball, right? How is...
He was for about a year and a half. And
yeah. I mean, I know, Mark, you're a Celtics stan. You got to love IT, but that guy's just not good. What about J.R. Smith? He wants to play. Bring him back.
He's in college. He's playing college golf.
He said he wants to play. I'd be shocked if the Lakers don't sign him.
But my biggest disappointment this year is also a team. That would be the San Diego Padres. I personally picked the Padres to go to the World Series this year. And boy, oh boy, did that not happen. They finished 79-83. The pitching down the stretch was just abysmal. I mean, just awful going down the stretch. Tatis was hurt for a little bit, but he still put up MVP-like numbers. Manny Machado is still a superstar. Jake Cronenworth broke out. They made some moves. None of them worked out, really. I mean, they traded for Adam Frazier, and that guy stunk for the Padres. and he's on Seattle now, correct? Didn't they just go and trade him to Seattle?
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, he went to San Diego and just stunk up the place. Eric Hosmer has proven that he was not worth what he was given. Basically, everything that could have gone wrong with the Padres this year did go wrong, and that's the definition of being a disappointment, is just not living up to nearly the hype. Everyone had him in the playoffs. A lot of people, myself included, had him winning the division, and they just stunk out loud, especially in the second half of the year. So they're my biggest disappointment of the year.
All right, so Mark causes me to pivot here, but it's a good thing. I had two. My one was the San Diego Padres, but now I've moved on to Steve Sarkisian in Texas football. What a joke. This team, I remember it greatly. They were up 3 touchdowns on Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. They were on their way to be a top 10 team in the country if they won that game, and everyone was saying Texas football is back when they were dominating Oklahoma, only to give up 5 second-half touchdowns and lose the game outright in regulation. They then went on to lose not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 straight games after that, including one to Kansas, like the absolute worst program in all of football, besides like UConn or something. Unbelievable. I mean, crazy how bad they performed. And Texas football was back for 30 seconds. They're gone. They're dead. They're done.
I'd like to provide
15
an
minutes of
update.
fame.
An update here, by the way. Jacoby Brissett is now winning quarterback for the Miami Dolphins.
What happened?
Tua.
I think Tua got hurt. I think.
Oh, no.
And also, we're 3 minutes into the second quarter, and the Saints have -4 yards. So, that's going well. Anyways, no round of applause for the biggest disappointment. Do better.
Boo!
Yeah, do better. All right, back to the positivity. This one, a little similar to sporting event of the year. And that's going to be our sports moment of the year. Whether it made you happy, it made you cry, it felt important, it felt big. Josh, what was your moment of the year?
I've got a great honorable mention here, and this one, as much as you are the fight guy of the show, Nunez, I am the tennis and wrestling guy, the sports entertainment guy. And this summer, something happened. The greatest show of the summer at SummerSlam this year. John Cena headlined his first pay-per-view in over 5 years, pretty much since 2016. He went on and he faced Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And that, to me, was a huge moment for me. Just absolutely childhood reimagined, seeing Cena get the spotlight again, doing all his moves. It was just awesome. Sure, he got vanquished and then Brock Lesnar came and stole the spotlight. But he's a company man, and he does it for the fun of it. So that's all that matters. He did a whole summer of Cena. Great stuff. Loved it. Watched it. Made people who didn't probably want to watch it with me. And that's what wrestling's all about. My real moment of the year, Mark, you mentioned it earlier. I was flying home from Cancun and I was watching the whooping at whistling that happened. And then that Sunday, I got to sit in my garage with a stogie lit as I watched the USA men go out there and try and run it up on the Europeans. I mean, that is just one of the greatest moments as a U.S. golf fan out there. It's just what you live for. It's just to watch your boys beat down on the British. You steal your pride from them, and then you go out there 250 years later and remind them you still got one on them. That's what it's all about. So.
To be fair, it is all of Europe, and friend of the show, Bernd Weisberger, did play for the European team.
So everyone's favorite Nazi did get vanquished. So shouts out to Bernd.
All right. Well, my pick for moment of the year is actually going to be a day on the calendar. And that is going to be July 1st, 2021. Not only is it the start of the second half of the year, you're on the home stretch, but it became what is most likely going to be one of the most important days in college sport history. July 1st was the day where name, image, and likeness was officially ratified by the NCAA, allowing players to profit off of their name, image, and likeness. As someone who has very strong opinions on players' rights, especially college players in football and basketball in particular. The opportunity for any of them to make money off of what they do is a game changer for sports, both amateur and professional. So it's not. This was admittedly a hard award for me to come up with. So I went with the day that I thought was the most important sports day of the year, and that to me was July 1st, 2021.
So Josh has, similar as I did to Austin, forced me to pivot here. Originally, my moment of the year was going to be Colin Morikawa's shot to officially win the Ryder Cup for the United States. He tough par 3, really difficult pin, puts it to about a foot, sinks the birdie putt. It just, the place goes nuts. It was unbelievable. But I'm going to change to a different golf moment, and that Josh mentioned earlier, and that's Phil Mickelson at the PGA. Not when he won, but when he's walking down 18.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just literally like 2,000 people.
It's like something out of Happy Gilmore.
Yes, directly behind him. And just surrounding him as he's walking up to make his approach shot to go into the green to win the PGA Championship at 50 years old. Jack Nicklaus was the oldest player to win a major when he won the 86 Masters in one of the great performances of all time, the yes sir call by Vern Lundquist at 16 when he made the putt. But Phil, with all those people behind him, I think it's the best sports picture of the year. I think it's the best sports moment of the year.
All right. My moment of the year is a little less it's just a moment I liked. It's not necessarily as big and as amazing as those moments, but that's Dan Campbell getting his first win finally in the NFL. It was just a long year for him with tough loss after tough loss after tough loss. A couple press conferences where he's crying for his guys because he feels bad because they're putting in such hard work and they're competing in these games and they can't finish. And then they come down and beat the Vikings in another game where you thought the Vikings were going to win on a game-winning field goal. And they finally come out with a win. And for Dan Campbell, that meant everything. And he's been a great coach and just a likable guy. So that was my moment of the year, watching him finally get a win and watching his press conference after.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, we'll obviously see what happens moving forward, but the Lions should be happy with who they've hired.
Yeah.
As their coach and their front office. They're doing a good job.
It sucks that there's not as many Dan Campbells out there, I think, that people can root for as there are Matt Nagy's and Adam Gase's of the world.
Well, yeah, people thought that Matt Nagy was what Dan Campbell is for about a season. The year they went to the playoffs, he hit that, and then he quickly outed himself as a loser. So I hope Dan Campbell doesn't do the same thing. You know, Congratulations to all those moments, winning moment of the year. We've got 2 awards left on the evening. Josh, we're going to head to you for this one. Breakout Athlete of the Year. Who is the athlete that has thrown themselves onto the scene in a big way in 2021?
Yeah. Of course. Who else would I go to for this award? Austin mentioned him earlier. If you don't know the name now, you better get on it because he's going to take over United States men's tennis like you've never seen. He's going to be the first American to win a major since Andy Roddick. Jensen Brooksby is the guy. He's 19 years old. He climbed from 372nd in the world to 56th in a calendar year. Now, he technically didn't win a single tournament all year. That happens. But he grinded out. He made it to finals. He won. Most notably, what you might have remembered, he took a set off a Joker. He was one of 2 people to take a set from Novak in the U.S. Open, the other one being Daniil Medvedev, who won it all. So the guy's got the stuff. He's probably the 2nd or 3rd best returner of serve in the sport. Behind Joker and Medvedev, it's Brooksby. You don't want to serve it to Brooksby. You can get broken on any goddamn service game. His first serve is fine. His second service might be the worst in men's tennis. There is significant bad drawbacks to his game. Roddick did mention that he'd be willing to help him out with serving. So, like, that's crazy. He's like, give me 48 hours and this guy will be a top 10 player in the world. That's what Andy Roddick said about him. So, shouts out to that guy for loving the help. And Jensen Brooksby is going to be a name you'll remember after this year.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move forward here and go with my pick for Breakout Athlete of the Year. And that pick is going to be a guy who has made his way into the conversation as the best running back in the NFL over the course of the season. And that's Jonathan Taylor as my breakout athlete. He had an all right rookie year. It was a classic high draft pick running back. Austin, I'd just like to say that I put something in the Hot Stove Snapchat for you to go check real quick. Had an all right rookie year, was really let loose at the end of the season. This year, he has absolutely taken off. He scored going into this week where he had a measly 110 yards. Scored a touchdown in 11 straight games before this past Saturday. Going to be number one on pretty much every fantasy board coming into next season. And I tell you, one of the most exciting times in sports is when a running back is young and ready to take over. Think Christian McCaffrey's first couple of years in the league, or Saquon Barkley's rookie year, or Zeke's first couple years in the league, Adrian Peterson. This is the kind of running back breakout that Jonathan Taylor is having this year. It's awesome to see because one of my favorite players to watch play football. Josh is fighting with a cat, and that's my pick for breakout athlete of the year.
This bastard.
He's got the toy on a string. Austin, actually, would you mind going before me here because I want mine to be last.
All right, mine is. I won't pivot this time. My breakout athlete of the year is Jonathan Taylor as well. The very end of last season into 2021 season, he's been unbelievable. And obviously, I think Derrick Henry going down helps him a bit. Now he's transcended into like the only guy in this like super elite category right now.
Big dog.
But just crazy how much growth he's had in just 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, I remember last year him talking about the fact that, like, and it seemed like it too, like he wasn't reading holes properly, he wasn't making decisions all that well. Mm-hmm. And this year, all of that has wiped away. All of it.
Yeah. It's
really exciting to see.
All right, well, my breakout athlete of the year is a favorite of a couple of members of this program. Josh said earlier that we tend to forget about March Madness. Not me. I have not forgotten about March Madness, and this guy got a lot of people watching March Madness and continuing to watch the team this year. That's right, it's Drew Timme.
Oh,
you always have to be good to be a breakout, right?
He is good.
I thought it was going to be the Manslaughter Bros.
Oh, no.
The Manslaughter Misfits, sorry.
No, I decided to go with Drew Timme just because I know how much you and Austin love him. I knew that I would get some agreement here from the rest of the show by bringing up Drew Timme and giving him this award. He went off in March. Gonzaga was upset by Baylor in the finals, sure. But up until then, we were looking at a 76 Indiana team where it's like this team just won't lose. And he was a big part of that.
Unfortunate circumstance. Best team in the country loses to the team that is the second best team in the country. Like, shucks.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm going to give this award to Drew Timme, a very good basketball player. I expect him to make waves in this league for years to come.
Well,
in what league? The Israeli basketball league, or
I refuse to acknowledge which league I'm talking about.
Okay, I was just wondering.
This league, he will.
The league that he's.
The Syracuse CYO.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
The league. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. He's gonna be a staple of the basketball tournament every 4th of July.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Mark
gonna put up
Hughes,
80.
fellas.
he's gonna be the
Hughes'
first
fellas.
guy to go straight out of college to the Big Three. All right. Well, we'll move on here. Our final award of the evening. We've made it, y'all. And I will speak for everyone here in saying that this award wasn't particularly hard to pick.
Nope.
So much so, in fact, that all 4 of us have the same pick for our final award. That award is Athlete of the Year. The athlete that took over 2021 and made it theirs, did something great, did something historic, made new fans of whatever sport they were in, did something that captivated the masses. And you know who that pick is? That pick is none other. Jesus, that pick is none
Getting
other.
assaulted.
I see that. That pick is none other than Shohei Ohtani. There was no possible way that any of us could have picked anyone that isn't Shohei Ohtani for the Athlete of the Year award. Took the sports world by storm, made ESPN care about baseball, which is a big feat.
A nearly impossible task.
Exactly. He's like the one player baseball's figured out how to market properly.
Mm-hmm.
People love him. The kids love him. I love him. Everybody loves Ohtani.
I love him.
And even outside of the fact that he seems to be like the most lovable person of all time, he did something that the sport has never seen before. Quite literally. Mm-hmm. Had a season unlike any other in the nearly 150 years the sport of baseball has been around. Hitting 46 home runs and stealing 26 bases while also pitching 130 innings of a 3.18 ERA with 156 strikeouts. This guy can do it all, truly. It's a marvel to see. And again, if we didn't have the biggest bag fumbler of the year, maybe we'd be able to take advantage of it. Shohei Ohtani was the easy pick for Athlete of the Year. I don't really think. I mean, there's a couple other guys that I kind of like threw around. Like, I could choose Brady,
Giannis,
Roman Reigns,
Djokovic, of course, yeah.
Djokovic.
If Djokovic won the calendar slam, he would have been mine.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, luckily none of us work for Sports Illustrated because they named Tom Brady the Sports Person of the Year because they're a bunch of racists.
Wow.
I would like to say for the record that I do not endorse Mark's opinion.
They're not actually racist.
Sports Illustrated, if you'd like to hire me, I would gladly take that position.
No,
they're not
think
actually
we should.
racist.
Stovie's 2021, Mark Rowland's quote, Sports Illustrated is racist. Close it out. Title of the episode. Put it out there.
No, it's just like, I understand what Brady did. I understand it was amazing. We have literally never seen anything like Ohtani.
And we see Brady do it every year, it seems like.
Yeah, and Brady's done it 7 times now. Not all of them have been at the age of 44, but they've been at the age of 41 and 39. So it's like, all right, we can calm down a little bit now.
If I may, I think we're at a lull here, so I'll do it. I think what's attracted the cat to me most tonight is he's wondering why the hell I'm here, why I'm sitting in this chair doing nothing. He is now right next to the camera here, and he's now just he's hitting the phone. He knows something's going on in this thing, and he doesn't know why. And that's where his bewilderment and quite honestly his angst has come from.
So maybe Frank the Cat will be able to capture our Athlete of the Year award for 2022. Who knows, right? We don't know. But as it sits right now, Austin, do you have anything to say about Shohei Ohtani?
No, other than the only argument against him is that he brought out people to hate the sport as well, because SportsCenter did its thing, like its Zion thing, where it just wouldn't stop posting about him, and people were like, "All right, I'm sick of this," and I, for one, loved it, but it got a little nauseating for some people, and it brought out the worst type of sports fans. So
racists.
The partially,
Is that-
I mean,
Yeah.
let's just, I would say that some of that might
Guys
be
hate Japan.
motivated.
Yeah.
Let's just they don't get upset like that when they post about Tom Brady. Let's just put it that way. You know?
Mhm.
It's true.
Yeah. Anywho, we won't get into that.
Yeah, because you're right. There'll be a Super Bowl parade in July where Tom Brady's throwing a trophy for 3 straight weeks on SportsCenter and nobody cares. So
Yep.
Right. Exactly. Which, to be fair, was a very fun moment.
sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
was
it
cool
got
for like 3
posted.
days.
An unbelievable amount of time.
Yeah, and then
He threw the
ESPN will
trophy.
do the thing where they post it again on like November 12th, and they'll be like, "Remember when Brady did this?" Laughing emoji, and then
Yeah.
Damn, he's so crazy.
yeah, it's the embodiment of like the LOL quirky crackhead energy girls. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyways, let me keep this buttoned up, if you will. But
He hasn't been wearing a shirt the entire time, and he fought with a cat.
Me?
that does
Hey, man.
for the 2021 Stovie's Award. Let's give one more round of applause to everyone who was awarded the Stovie Award tonight.
Some of our 2-time winners too.
Yes, we had a couple people win a couple of awards here. Rob Manfred won 2 awards.
Mhm.
Urban Meyer won 2 awards. Jackson Brooksby won 2 awards.
Jensen Brooksby.
Jensen
goddammit.
Brooksby, I'm sorry.
Not the
Jensen-
company that Jensen wants to be in, but
All you need
hey.
to know is his name's Brooksby.
That's
It's
true.
Brooksby.
Brooksby won
That's
2 positive awards. Urban Meyer and Rob Manfred won 2 negative awards.
Mhm.
Matt Nagy became
right.
the first person in the history of the show to win awards in multiple years. He started to become the Meryl Streep of the Stovie Awards.
Yeah, bad at their job.
Oh, boo. Anyways, we will be back in the new year with some new content. Hot Stove rolls on for year 4 in 2022. We'll probably be back. One of our first episodes will be our Baseball Hall of Fame ballot. We will go through that. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. That's at Hot Stove Pod on Twitter. Here on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, comment if you feel like it. What are your picks for some of our awards? Let us know down in the comment section. And also hit the notification bell as well, so you get notified when we post new stuff. We're going to take a little bit of a break, though. We will see you guys on the other side in 2022. Thank you for a fantastic year of the Hot Stove Podcast, and we will see you next time.
Bing
Peace.
bong.